want to?
education.
I don't know. It says 28 to 30. Do you want to?
Yeah, but I can do 10 to 15.
10 to 15?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's, and just give me a hard cut off. It's a little controversial. Yeah. I don't want to hog the whole time.
So green light at 13, yellow at 14, red at 15.
Yes.
Good.
Great.
So my name's Paul, and I've asked 3 people to come up and basically explain why they want to be mayor of Oakland. So our first guest, Ernestine Cone. She is a new member of the city of Oakland, a new resident. So let's welcome Ernestine. Patricia, longtime resident of Oakland. And then Ken just moved to Oakland 2 days ago and wants to run for mayor. Don't waste your time. So in 30 seconds, can you explain to the audience why you want to become mayor of Oakland? And Ken, you're first.
Well, there's a lot of problems that need to be fixed, and I'm the guy that knows how to fix it. So that's one reason. I think Oakland's a great city. I think it's got lots of opportunities, and I just think that some people have the wrong idea, so I want to run for mayor so I can straighten it all out. Make sure we got enough police, make sure that people want to be in Oakland, and try to address all the difficulties that we have.
Okay. Ernestine?
Oh, well, I graduated from Oakland High School, and I have a very long time connection to Oakland. I have a lot of positive things that I would like to see happen in the city. The way it's been run for the last 20 years, there's no fiscal control. We have a budget, but the controller lets people spend outside of the budget without approval, and I'm going to put a stop to that. That's why I want to be mayor of Oakland.
Patricia?
Well, I'm a long-term resident of Oakland. I was born and raised here. Many people have negative kind of feelings about Oakland, but I'm here to say that Oakland is a very vibrant, important city. It has so much diversity, and the interest of people to be well-fed, well-housed, with clean water, clean air, enough food, those issues need to be addressed. Also, we need to be able to have all the voices heard so that we can start to use all of the intelligence and experience to solve our problems together. And that's why I want to be mayor. I want to be a catalyst to bring everyone together at the same table so that we can all have enough.
Okay, great. Thank you, Patricia. So our first question is, can you define in your own opinion the role of government as mayor? How do you feel the city of Oakland should be run? And Patricia will go with you.
The city of Oakland should be run, and government's role is to be an overseeing property, an overseeing agency. And the way it's run now, perhaps there is some overseeing, but I don't feel that there's enough input from the grassroots people to help solve our problems. So I would like to see strategy and procedure to bring the people in East Oakland, the people in West Oakland, the people around Lake Merritt into the discussion.
Ken? Role of government?
Well, the purpose of city government is to provide services. And so, especially health and safety and sanitary, so that's the purpose of government. So we need to improve those services. We need to make sure people are listened to. We want to put an end to the way that money controls all these campaigns and buys all these people on the council. Because, and then we need a local public bank. We're investing all of our money outside the community, which is really very foolish. It's amazing how our wealth just leaves. And if we had a local public bank, we could enjoy lots of great benefits. If we could just have people participate identify who they are and things they're interested in, we could find a lot of resources out there that, you know, we don't know exist. So I have some innovative ideas on bringing folks together.
Great. Ernestine, role of government, how you would
I will agree with Ken that the role of government is to service the people who live there. Not to control them, but to supply the necessary things for them to live a good life. I think the city needs to be run like a nonprofit business because cities take our money, they don't make any money. So a city is really a nonprofit because all the money that comes in from the people who live and work there. Oakland used to be run like a business. There was fiscal responsibility, the libraries were well kept, the schools were good, the neighborhoods were kept up, the streets were paved. And today, so much money goes to frivolous things in the city. The city council spends money like it was theirs. And I want to see that change and to run it more like a business. And I am a business person and know how to run a business, and that's why I want to be the mayor.
Thank you. Then Ernestine, we're going to come back to you. In the news just lately are the sports teams. They kind of drive some economy and dollars into Oakland. And honestly, people feel here in Oakland, in the East Bay, that they don't want to put their money towards attending a Raider game or A's game because they're not sure if they're going to be here tomorrow in the city of Oakland. So my question is to you, there is a potential lease agreement with the A's, 10 years. The Raiders are not interested in they're still working with the county and the city, and the Warriors want to go to San Francisco. How would you maintain all three teams in this city?
I really don't think we can maintain the Warriors in this city because they originally came from San Francisco, and the fact that they want to go back there is not surprising, especially with the other teams moving to San Jose. I think that the Oakland A's contract should go through. It's a good contract. The amount of money involved is a good amount. There is support for the team. If we want to keep a football team, then we're going to have to invest in a football stadium. They cannot share with a baseball team. It just doesn't work.
Great, thank you. Ken?
That's an interesting question because it's really an economic question. There's so many economics about it that I don't really understand. It's hard for me to make that decision. I will say that I think years ago the question of whether any team should be able to move out of any home city is something that always bothered me. I mean, I think a team should be fixed in a city. I don't think they should be able to move different places. I think that's kind of a shot in the arm of the integrity. I mean, you get behind something and then they got to be gone. I mean, it's just not, just doesn't. So that's one thing that I don't think is right. I'm not sure how I would solve this situation. I think I would look at who's economically impacted and start there, and then see what the real will is of all the people, and if they really wanted it, then try to get up some momentum. You know, you remember about 20 years ago, the Raiders sued the city and the county, and that lawsuit went on for years, and I mean, so there's so many problems with the finances here. I just have to take a better look at it to make a decision.
Patricia, you have the last word.
I don't have the facts or the figures regarding these teams, but in my opinion, if they are Oakland teams and they want to go, they should be fined. They should have a fee before we let them go, because they are our teams, the Oakland Raiders. I can't imagine them being the Los Angeles Raiders. I mean, really. And Warriors. If they want to go back to San Francisco, fine. Pay us $1 million. I'm just pulling that figure out of the air. Go, you're free, but leave the money here, right? And that other team, which one was it?
So the A's, Raiders, and Warriors.
The A's. They want a new stadium, I suppose, in order to stay here. That's a lot of money for our lack of budget here in Oakland. And if that is their requirement, we need to sit down and negotiate with them, and they too can pay. How are we going to work this out so the city benefits as well as this team? It's should be a win-win situation.
Great, thank you, Patricia. Now moving on to public safety, we have around 600 officers with the Oakland Police Department. Some people think that's not enough. Some folks don't even want a police department. So there's extremes on both ends. But we have a huge crime rate here within Oakland, minor to major. So we're going to go with Ken. Ken, how can we solve the problems?
Well, you know, I think you have to get a handle on the roles and responsibilities of the people of City Hall. I mean, there's too much interference with the operation of the police department. You know, they talk about community policing, but they don't really do that. They move those people around, so there really isn't community policing. And it's not like you do it in one area. You either have that, you either feel that or you don't. You know, I like how they separate some areas for community policing. You know, the whole thing is really a problem that the mayor is involved with the operation of the police department, and that really doesn't work. You know, they really need more people, because then the ones you have are working overtime, and then they're actually threatened if you don't have enough people to meet some of these obligations out there. So they really need to realign those roles and responsibilities at City Hall and really learn about what they should be doing and what they shouldn't, because I think a lot of people are walking over the line and there's no discipline, and you know, how does anything work? So that's what I would do.
All right, thanks, Ken. Patricia.
Would you refresh the question?
So there is at least around 600 officers with the Oakland Police Department. Some people feel like that's not enough to police the city of 400,000, and other people feel that the police department should be abolished and there shouldn't be a police department. However, there is a major issue of crime, to minor to major to violent crime. How can we solve the problems here in Oakland with just crime in itself?
The problem of crime and the number of policemen is something that is, I'm not sure if the numbers have anything to do with keeping the crime level down. In my opinion, the number of police and their intention and their placement under a strong organization would keep the crime down. So I would like there to be some sort of study about how we can best use the policemen we have, because our budget is so non-supportive of bringing on more people. How best could we use these policemen? Would it be that they would be in communities and become there as and regular have a beat? In the old days, as I saw in the movies, they used to walk up and down the streets and keep the streets safe. There was only one of them. But that doesn't work these days, because we have organized crime and criminals who have AK-47s. So it seems to be a war of the criminals versus the police. So there needs to be addressed some way that we can sit down and think about how we can best utilize the police that we have, how we can organize them, how we can make sure that they're keeping the crime contained. It is not okay for criminals to run the neighborhoods and endanger the lives of citizens, families, children. It is not okay.
Last word on this question.
Okay. I definitely think we need to raise the level of the police force Oakland used to have a police force of well over 800 officers. It's a fair-sized city, it's a big area. Right now, we're borrowing from the county and from the highway patrol to supplement our police force. I think the mayor has to keep her nose out of the police department and let the police chief run the department. That's what they're hired for, that's what they know how to do. And I think all the interference that's coming from City Hall is hurting our police department. If we had a higher minimum wage in Oakland, as they have in San Francisco, there wouldn't be so many people robbing houses to get money, because they would be making a living wage. You cannot live on $8.25 an hour. That's only $13,000 a year, and that barely pays for an apartment to live in. And what are you going to use to eat? So it's a two-pronged situation. We need more officers, less interference, and a higher minimum wage.
Great. Well, thank you, candidates. We're at the end, and I just want to ask you for a closing argument why you should persuade our audience to vote for you for mayor. So we started with Ken. Let's go back to Ernestine, and Ernestine, you'll start.
I think as mayor, I will implement the ideas that I have put forth. I will see that the city starts to go back to being run like business the way it was when I was a young person and my next door neighbor was controller. And she never let anybody spend anything that wasn't on the budget. And I intend to see that we do the same thing. I want to raise the police force. I want to keep our sports teams here. And I want to raise our minimum wage. And I want to keep the city council out of the police business.
Patricia.
As I've been listening to both of the candidates, I am impressed with the many facts and details that Ernestine has on the cities. And I would like to say at this point that I am withdrawing and have to vote for her.
All right. Thank you, Patricia. Ken?
I'm sorry that it's waiting here. I have experience doing this. My attitude is, what can the city do for you? I don't think the current attitude at City Hall is that way. And with your input and your help and working together, we can solve these problems.
Great, thank you, Ken. Thank you, Ken, Patricia, and Ernestine. Before we go, I wanted to make a little plug. Larry Tramutola, he sponsored this event tonight. And I have his book.
Oh, God.
I have his book here. Sidewalk Strategies. If you're interested in reading it, it's a book that he wrote a few years ago, and he's a campaign consultant, so they could help with any political campaign. So, yeah. Thank you for your time, and let's thank the candidates.
Hey, great job. Wow.
All right.
Oh, yeah?
Thank you, Paul.
Wow.
Thank you, great volunteers that put this together.
So where's the?
Okay, and so we do evaluations here, right? Ready to speak,
I
right?
can do it, yeah.
Okay, so next we're going to have Cynthia evaluate Paul speak. Come on, Cynthia. Thank you.
Wow, well, I just first want to commend the panelists. I mean, I was like, whoa! So Paul walked in and literally said, I would like to give a speech. So they had no prior knowledge or understanding. So, and then Patricia, I mean, it was like a minute later, you were up on stage. That was just great Toastmastering. I just love the impromptu speaking, and that you all had such a great in-depth knowledge and background. It was really, I learned a lot about Oakland, and I didn't have any idea that all three of the major teams were wanting to leave. So I just commend you all. And I'm here to evaluate Paul's presentation. Let me move here so you can see me. Ah, here we go. And I just thought it was really provocative questions, very deep questions. Also, I just want to commend you in your enrollment. Enrollment is a huge skill, whether you're enrolling for money or enrolling for having them up on the panel with you and volunteering. So you were able to convey who they were and their background and give them a position, and they were able to step into it. So to me, that's what leadership. So Paul, I think here as a moderator, I think a moderator isn't just a speaker, they're a leader, and you demonstrated that really, really well. I liked your provocative questions, and evidently the book was very provocative. I hadn't heard of it, didn't know anything about this person, but I was really checking for tomatoes to see if they'd be thrown. And sometimes that's the best thing to do, is to stir a controversy, to stir the pot and get us thinking. And so I loved how you were very compelling in that situation. And you also were needing to be a facilitator and a moderator at the time. I don't know what the timing was, but it seemed like everything was right on time. And I loved how you were mixing up who was going to be speaking. So no one knew. They figured, I'm done, and then boom, they're number one again. So you mixed it up and stirred it up. And I thought it was a great job. One thing that you could do to be more engaging with us, especially because it was kind of rushed in the last minute, and do what, but to really ground and take your space as the moderator, as the speaker, as the leader, and have more of a stage presence. Kind of gather yourself and help us to gather ourselves. That's the thing that I would love to see more in your leadership and your speaking skills. And I just, every time I hear you speak,